We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Chop Robinson, Miami Dolphins edge defender. And in this game, he finally got to play like a pretty regular snap percentage, playing over 60% of the snaps. Hasn't really done that like all season long. His usage has been limited. Coming back from injury, Jalen Phillips fully gone, and he got that opportunity to actually play like a handful. He gets to be pretty productive. So, like, getting him opportunities, like I've been saying, help him be more productive. I don't even think this was like his greatest game in terms of like pass rush win rate. But there was some nice work that he did. I thought like rush lane discipline that I think was key for him. He did his thing, I think versus the run. I think that's something he's been better at this year than probably given credit for. Is actually his run defense when he's played has been pretty solid. So I got to give Chop credit for that. And I do think he will continue to get like opportunistic looks. Like even in previous games before the injury, you'll see some plays and even some games in the plays later in this video from like the Commanders, where like he's getting some clean pass runs, specifically when he's like knifing to the inside. I want to see some more creative usage for Top because that quickness, that first step explosiveness is really special. So I want to see them try to take advantage of that more. But yeah, I still feel very strongly about Chop as a player. I feel like the fan base has been pretty down on him, but I would say right now, out of like all the players on the team and like the ones that people are negative about, he's probably the one that I feel most strongly about, like still being a positive player for the team, down the line for it in Miami. So we're gonna go back, break down some of the Saints stuff, and this sack right here, this first one, actually, not Chop's like craziest sack. We've seen him get some sacks, in the previous season, or even the pressures where he wins super quickly. This one, like right here, when he's in the spot, I'm sure if Jordan Brooks wasn't blitzing, he would probably try to knife this to the inside, win to the inside. But since Brooks is blitzing, he has to take the outside path. This is Brooks's lane to work through. Chop does not have the freedom to go up inside. But since he knows this is going to happen, he doesn't want to work past the quarterback too much. He wants to contain him, not allow him to bounce to the outside. But he takes this perfectly and just shows really good anticipation to not go past the quarterback, spin out of it late. So when the quarterback tries to step up, he's there to clean it up like that. Which I think is a good sign because there was a play last week versus Commanders where he did go too wide and far past the quarterback, and the rush lane opened up for Mariota, 2 weeks ago now because there was a bye. But that's something I just wanted to keep notice of, just showing some anticipation. I actually think, it shows a mental maturity type of play from Chop because I've seen him win in a lot of different ways. But I think getting a cleanup sack like this is actually important. Usually I wouldn't put too much value on this type of play, but I think for Chop, it was nice to see because I don't think this is an area he's typically been as good in when it comes to pass rushing. Here's his other like half sack that he gets combined with Zeke Biggers. I think he just does a good job here constricting the pocket late because Dolphins have struggled to get pressures on like these early down play action throws because everyone's jump setting, and when it's play action like this, like guys don't fire off the ball. Like right here, Chop usually if it's pass rushing, he might try to fire around this guy, beat a tight end pretty easily. But since he's getting control at the point of attack, he's kind of holding on, trying to identify if it's a run or pass. And then once he sees it's a pass, tries to escape late, and then you can just see the power to push the tight end back. Like, just look at where this guy is at, the foot of the tail of the Dolphin, and look how he pushes him back, multiple yards backwards and to this hash where Zeke is. And, those are some nice plays. 2 sacks that the 1 sack and a half sack are different types of sacks than I've ever seen Chop really get. If you go back and look at his sacks from last year, most of them are not like that at all. They were either like quick wins where he knives to the inside, beating a guy with just pure speed to power, or like bending around the edge. Not usually these like late play versus play action. It's usually in like those true pass set situations. So it is nice to see that because I think that gives you more value as an every down player, and that's why I was just like give him more opportunities, then you'll give a chance to be more productive. So yeah, good stuff there from Chop. I will say he was also chipped a lot. When Chop is out there and they only like chip to one side, usually it is to Chop's side. Like sometimes it is both guys. Like they have this running back over here to help maybe versus Chubb. This play also gets a little messed up, but they clearly always have someone to help out on Chop. Like if they are going to send someone to chip, they put it to Chop, and I think that is something to take notice of. Is teams do still respect him as a pass rusher. Here he works through the contact, get around late, kind of basically bait the quarterback into stepping up here. And you can see he works back to the inside and then helps, get a hit on Shuck. And it's 3rd and long. he gets a pressure and a hit right there, and it forces a check down, and they end up, rallying to tackle to make that. And then, yeah, did some good things versus the run. Good job slipping underneath this block. They're running inside zone with the sift. So this tight end's like going across, basically, got this split zone action. He's responsible for Chop. Chop recognizes this. You basically have a couple options: either take this on, or you try to slip around. I've seen Chop do this. Look, good job dipping the shoulder right here. Dip the shoulder, slip underneath, and then help basically Jordan Phillips make this tackle because he trips him up as well. And really, the running back has no chance there of making that. It's a good play by Chop. I think, as I've said, I think the run defense has been better than people think. There was really like one game this year where I thought Chop had bad run defense, and it was that first Bills game. Really, like he definitely struggled versus the run. But pretty much everyone on the D line struggled in that game. Here he sets the edge well versus a pretty powerful right tackle and Talisi Fuanga. Set the edge. He also resets. So see how he sets the edge perfectly here, where you set a strong from edge, but you also do it like a yard upfield too, and it really allows you to set this, and then you can peel off back to the inside. You just understand, like, hey, if you do go that yard upfield and get that outside as a force player, the running back is going to try to hit this hole, and he's able to peel off it to the inside and help make that tackle with Jordan Phillips again. Doing a good work there. Jordan Phillips, Jordan Brooks, and Chop were working very well in tandem in this game. Uh, Another play where you get a chance to knife to the inside. You'll see better rushes from knifing to the inside from Chop in other clips later on from different games. This is the only opportunity they gave him in this game where he gets to work a stunt with Grant. Grant's like the loop guy around, and he becomes that outside guy. But you can just see like how quick he is, man. He sets us up, gives a little bit of a foot fire there. Boom. Inside, he hits that club, arm over. He gets a little bit knocked up balance. The guy goes straight into that armpit. That's what you want to do. I do like that he stays on his feet. A lot of guys in this situation where he's right here might fall over, but he uses the other guy to maintain his balance, and he forces Shuck off his spot. Like, this is a pressure, move him off his spot, and then, allow Grant to chase him down. Like, that's still an overall not a bad rep there, and I just want to see more of that because I think those where he gets a lot of wins. Very good quickness. I wouldn't even mind some reps lined up on the inside. This one is interesting. So, right here, if you look at Jordan Brooks, there's a motion going over. Look at Jordan Brooks, and then look at Chop. They give a signal, clearly kind of communicating that they're going to switch roles. So Chop was the outside force defender here, but since he motions the outside, Jordan Brooks takes the outside leverage, and Chop is able to hold his own. And look at him peek to the inside. He's basically spilling this guy to the outside. So spill means like is the opposite of force. Like spill is you want to bounce the guys to the outside. Force is you're trying to force them back to the inside. So Chop peeks to the inside here, which then bounces this guy. Grant also holds his own. Benito gets free. Everything forces this, to spill out. So it spills to the outside, which where Jordan Brooks is left free because he has, the guys blocking him on the outside are receivers and stuff. He's going to win every time. And then if Brooks isn't like if this guy tries to hit up here, Chop's there to make a tackle, but he tries to bounce it, it gets into Brooks. Doing his job versus the run, I think, is but an underrated trait from Chop this season that because I see people talk about Chop, and I'm watching the film, I'm like, when he's played, he really hasn't been that bad. Like, there's been a lot of flashes. I'm like, if he just gets more opportunities, I think, people will be reminded of who he was. And I still don't think this Saints game was even close to his best still. And he still made multiple impact plays, which is good to see. Even here versus the screen where they're bringing a blitz, and he's supposed to slant to the inside, so they're bringing a blitz off the edge, so he doesn't really get a pass rush opportunity. But he realizes, like, what's going on here. He identifies as the screen, and then shows good hustle to get out there to limit that, to like a 3-yard gain, showing off that speed. That's always nice to see him making some mental plays. Here he actually draws the hold. There's another blitz coming to his side. So he's basically just trying to hold 75 and keep that outside leverage to give Brooks a free run up the middle. Like, he's not even really pass rushing here. He's just containing. Like, the goal is to get Brooks just a one-on-one with the running back. And then once he sees the quarterback escape to the outside, he doesn't want to let that happen. Boom, get out there. He would have been in position to make a play, but he gets held, and Chop ends up drawing the holding foul, which, bumps them back. And then an underrated play in this game is, yes, Phillips and Zeke Biggers do a great job kind of stopping that. But if you really look at this, look where 6 ends up going. He tries to go to the right side towards Chop, and you think, like, that's probably where you would want to go, an undersized edge. Chop is the one who really stops him on the biggest play of the game, the 4th and 1 tush push. Really stops that. 75's not able to move him. really good job from all of them kind of holding their own, but Chop was one of the main catalysts in that play, which, was actually a little surprising upon what rewatching the film that it was him because I just he was making plays in this game specifically that I just don't usually, uh, like, just those aren't the plays I usually would, associate with Chop Robinson, and, so those are all the Saints plays, I believe. Yeah, and then here's the Washington game. He had a couple really nice pass rush reps where you get like this, man. This is good stuff. And this is the game where like it was first game back from injury. They still limited his snaps, but like he was playing less than Judon. He finally played more than Judon in this game and got like a good chunk. Like I think it was 62%, which is his highest. Maybe all season. I would have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's his highest. If it's not, it's his second highest. Definitely is his highest since the early seasons, part of the season. And then just look at this. He sees the overset and he just takes that inside. And also, like Grant is supposed to loop around here, so like this is something Chop is supposed to do anyways. And it's just that quickness. He's so fast to the inside. I wish they would actually give him the freedom to do this more often because like this is supposed to be like you slant down. He sees a space and then Grant would loop around. So you see how Grant's looping around to take that outside edge. I would actually like if they gave him a little more freedom sometimes to be like, hey, you send it. We'll make up for it if it doesn't end up working out. But yeah, you get him that opportunity. He's just so quick. And that should have been a safety. This was not called a safety. Uh, if you look where like it's basically the pocket is to like this part of the Dolphins logo, and Mariota is releasing it about there. I mean, it's arguable, but where Chop is tackling him, he's clearly inside the box. I don't know, but yeah, whatever ends up how it goes. Then Chop had some good plays. They tried to been blocking him with tight ends lately. I mean, he's not getting blocked by tight ends. He's been dominating tight end blocks all season long, which is good. And even here, like Versal, Ronnie Stanley left tackle. Look how he resets the line. This is teach tape setting the edge play, and he only played 5 snaps in this Ravens game because he got a concussion. Look at him set the edge here. That is setting a hard edge, man. That is power at the point of attack. Is exactly what you want to do. And look how it just makes life so much easier on everyone else with what Sealer, Grant, Jordan Brooks, the linebacker. Like, man, that's just teach tape edge setting work there from Chop. And here he is on the backside of the run. They leave him unblocked. Works down the line of scrimmage. Stay in phase. This is actually the play he got hurt on. Right here when he made the tackle, he actually got that concussion. Kind of got hit by Lamar awkwardly and also got hit by his own teammate. Unfortunate, but yeah. And then even back like this Falcons game, he had a lot of really good pass rushes. Here at most of his rushes are typically at the left defensive end. Here's the right defensive end versus a pretty good player too, hitting like a little hesitation. You want to mix up your pace and tempo. Good job using his hands, fighting. Look how he extends right there, kind of open up the hip, and then you dip and rip underneath, getting a nice pressure helps force an incompletion there. Then he's knifing to the inside. Look how quick he is. So they're working a stunt with Phillips. This is something that man, I wish we could have seen more with Phillips and Chop. Like look how quick he is to the inside, man. He forces pretty much everyone to try to block him, but he still wins against them, and it also leaves Phillips free, and it just forces constant checkdowns. Like man, that's just sometimes I feel like they're not always using him to maximize his ability. Here's another example where they actually give him the freedom because Phillips is spying. So since Phillips is spying, they feel comfortable being like, "Hey, Chop, do whatever you want. You can go to the inside, the outside." He has that freedom, and look at the quickness. The first step off the ball, so much like explosive. Attacks that outside half, boom, into the inside, splits them, gets another pressure, and that was on a 4th down. Forces Cousins to get rid of the ball too quickly, and they don't complete that either. There's still a lot of those good flashes. I feel like people think he's just doing nothing. And I still think need to see more from Chop for sure. But I gotta defend him a bit because people have been kind of slandering him all season long, and I don't think all of it has been quite on him. I think a lot of it has been actually out of his control. Even here versus the run on a tight end, completely reset him, displace him off the ball. He's beating that every day of the week. I think he's doing a better job of stacking and shedding, and this is a good sign because Chop, one of his biggest limiter as a physical guy, or like from a physical standpoint, is he has very limited arm length, and I think he's done a better job utilizing all of the length, even though he has short arms, and still being able to separate. Here, this is a good job pass rushing in, like with your teammates, doing a good job being like, uh, good synergy with your teammates up front because you don't always have the freedom to do whatever you want. We've seen the plays where like he gets to really just send it, like pin your ear back, do whatever you kind of want, and he has some really good success. But like here, you're trying to constrict the pocket, but still win on that outside half so he can't escape. But not get too far to the outside where you create the room for him to step up and sneak out. But everyone just works it together. They work a kind of stunt on the back end with Tyrell Dotson, and they almost got a safety on the play. They also drew a holding call. Um, and then last play I wanted to show, get him in more wide 9 alignments. Like when they would have him wide 9, like this was at the end of the Chargers game where it was like a true pass set. They're throwing. There's no play action they can do. You get him wide 9 in these spots, and man, he is tough to block. Like really good job. He flashes that hand, so flash that hand like you might long arm, and then you dip and rip underneath, work through that contact. This is the rep where like he forces him into Jalen Phillips. He forces him to step up, and Phillips just misses that sack. Um, Against Herbert, but that's a really good rep from Chop when they allow him to actually rush. Like that type of play, the plays where I'm seeing like get those true pass rush opportunities, I'm like, that's a Chop from last season. He just hasn't had those opportunities this year. So more playing time, you see more productivity. It's like, you know, it's not that difficult when you have some of your most talented players playing limited snaps, they're not playing up to that potential because like, there was no reason for Judon to be playing over him because it wasn't like Judon was doing anything special. He's pretty limited in his production. Had like a play or two nice plays against the Saints. Um, but yeah, Chop needs to be above that 60 percentage mark every single game for the rest of the season. I would even mind it going up a little bit more. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Next time.